Welcome back, everyone. My name is Kayvon Young, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today's episode is going to be a little more about me venting about an experience I had a couple weeks ago, and it involves an ex. Now, granted, we've all had these stories where we go through a breakup and we kind of forget that outside of our own lives, the person that we broke up with is going to have their own life as well. But within the last couple of months, I kind of was that person that forgot that my ex was going to have a different life. So the story goes, I was on TikTok, and granted, I haven't been on TikTok in a while, so when I clicked on it, it had a bunch of suggested users. Within those suggested users was a TikTok account that was basically had the name of the podcast that my ex and her friends used to do. Cool. I'm curious, as most guys or girls would be, and I click on it. So I click on it, and I see that there's a YouTube link in it. And I'm curious, and the last time I remember they weren't really doing YouTube like that. So I was curious. They said a new episode, I saw it on the TikTok page, like, cool. So I click it. So I go on YouTube and I watch the video. Now, mind you, initially, my gut was telling me not to click on the video. Like, it really was telling me, like, Kayvon, like, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. You know where this path is headed, and you really need to get some sleep. Don't do this to yourself tonight. But, for those who can understand or resonate with me, there was a different force that was stronger than my own. So I watched it. And as I'm watching it, all was well, The initial shock of seeing her was a little bit jarring. It was a little off-putting, just to see her again. I haven't seen her in months, so just seeing a more recent her was stirred a little. I would say it like this: it lit a tiny little, I wouldn't say spark, but it caused a little bit of something to happen on the inside. I don't know how to describe it yet. So I'm watching, and they get to the part where they talk about their 2024 recap. I knew it was coming, but I stayed in. I'm a good audience viewer. I'm gonna watch it all the way through. So she begins to talk about her 2024, She mentioned she graduated. Congratulations on that. I actually, I remember when she started that journey, and that was one of my biggest goals as a boyfriend, was to make sure that she had anything or everything she needed to be able to complete that goal for herself. I strongly believe in education. But I knew for her that it was deeper than that, and I just wanted to support her in any type of way I could during that period of her life. So congratulations. I'm actually very proud of you. But then she mentions a little bit about our breakup and how we broke up after premarital counseling. Now, mind you, it sounds bad, but to be honest, the premarital counseling is what showed me that, one, we were not ready to be married, and we were nowhere close to being married or getting married. And two, that there were a lot of, I hate using the word red flags, but there were a lot of red flags within the relationship that were beginning to be uncovered during those sessions that I, within my communication space and her communication space, could not bring to light while we were together. So that's why, one, I do highly recommend if you're in a relationship and you believe it's getting to a point where you may or may not get engaged, I do believe premarital counseling will help you learn more about that process and learn more about your relationship and even learn more about your individual views of the relationship with a common mediator. So that's not an ad for premarital counseling, but I support it and I highly recommend everyone do it if you're in a committed relationship. So it didn't really bother me. It really didn't. I, of course, wanted to chime in, even though it's a pre-recorded video, can't really chime in. But I'm not weird. I'm not going to create a fake account and go and write comments under the video, right? No, I didn't do that. I'm too grown for that. Immature, I've learned. So, let me get to the story. I continue watching, and she continues talking. I noticed something else that kind of threw me off. And I would have to say it was like the mannerisms. Like just the way she was talking and moving kind of threw me off because that wasn't the last person that I guess I experienced. And I'm not saying anything was wrong with it. It just, to me, kind of like just shocked me because I had a different version of her in my head. And listen, I have a video that I'm about to drop very soon that sheds more light into the perspective of someone who creates these ideas of a person and those ideas being incorrect. We all do it sometimes in relationships. We create these ideas or these fantasies of the person that we're with or the person that we want. And then when that person doesn't live up to those ideas, actually to say expectations, we kind of get stunned or we kind of get thrown off in a way like they were supposed to live up those expectations or live up to those expectations. But getting back on track, that was the second thing that threw me off. But the third thing that I was not prepared for, I was not prepared for this, was hearing that she got ghosted on Hinge. Now, YouTube, if you don't know what Hinge is by now, then congratulations to you. I'm so happy you never experienced having to get on a dating site or a dating app. It's a wonderful app. Out of all the dating apps, it's actually my favorite. I haven't used it in a long time, but it is my favorite when I was on it. But Hinge is a dating app, more casual, easier for me. It's easier to have conversations, in my opinion. You have more control. It's not like Bumble, but it's a blend between Tinder and Bumble, in my opinion, which are two other dating apps. But hearing her say that she got ghosted on Hinge made me unhinged. I have never felt that much, I would say, I'm gonna just be real. It was like a blend of like rage and anger and disappointment and disgust and pain and hurt and sorrow and sadness and all the emotions. Y'all know these emotions, but all these emotions were hitting me all at once in the middle of my bed at 2 a.m. in the morning. And it felt like my heart was just thumping and thumping and thumping and thumping. And I had to really check myself, yo, what is going on with you, bro? Like, what is going on? What is going on with you, Kayvon? Couldn't answer it. I really couldn't answer it that night. I couldn't answer it that night. I stayed up probably another 2 hours just stressing, honestly. I don't even know. But I do know I finished the video. I did finish the video. I'm not gonna say anything negative. I actually gave it a like. So I was their first like. No pettiness, because at my core, I can't lie to myself. I can't deny the fact that I since I met her until this point, always wanted and rooted for her success. But I did feel, and this is with reflection, I did feel disappointed. I did feel disappointed, and I felt embarrassed, and I felt upset for a couple of reasons. Primary reason is that I now have evidence, I have confirmation of that dark thing that we try not to believe or we try to ignore, which is the thought of someone that we previously loved, someone that we previously broke bread with, stayed the night with, met parents with, traveled with, experienced life with, planned on marrying to, like all the, you don't want to imagine this person back out into the streets, actively dating someone else. You don't ever want to imagine that. That if you're not mature enough to handle that, you will get sent down some very dark paths very easily with the wrong set of thoughts. Please avoid it, or please heal from it. But I also was embarrassed because someone that I used to put on a pedestal, someone that I freaking vouched for, someone that I freaking just had so much love for, and someone that I really, really cared about is getting ghosted on Hinge. Oh my gosh. It's embarrassing. And it's weird because I have a weird mindset when it comes to things. Like I knew if we ever broke up, like I knew she would eventually talk to somebody else. I just prayed, of course, that it would be with somebody better, someone that she deserved. Not getting, okay, I'm not gonna get into that. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna get into that. And mind you, hopefully y'all being my audience and me being transparent with y'all, I hope y'all be transparent with me. And I know I'm messed up. I know I have no true right to be feeling these feelings, but guess what? They're still my feelings, and these are the feelings that came up. So lastly, it was the sadness. Actually, before I get into the sadness, I, of course, with reflection, I always look at myself about like what I'm doing to see how I can correct myself. And hypocrisy was mixed in there because I'm like, Kayvon, now let's be real. You can't be mad at her for being on Hinge when you know what you've been doing for the last 4 months. Like, chill out, bro. I can't even be serious. Cause yeah, you know, I've had my fun. So I can't even tweak. So that's what ultimately allowed me to forgive myself and forgive her, even though she does not need my forgiveness. But in reality, me just looking at myself and forgiving myself and giving myself grace for feeling what I felt. But yeah, speaking specifically to my fellas now, actually speaking not just to my fellas, let me speak to everybody. You do not have control over another person's life. You didn't have control over their life when y'all were dating. You didn't have control over their life when y'all were, whatever y'all were doing. I can go down a list of things that don't grant you control over that person's actions or life. And better yet, you have zero control over a person that you no longer date. So accept it. They're gonna move on. You're gonna move on. They're gonna be happy. You're gonna be happy. Wish nothing but the best for them. Pray for them. Hope that they don't get ghosted again. All right, I'm a little petty. But really just focus on your own life. Life is too short to be worried about someone's YouTube video. Life is too short to be worried about who they could be doing this with or doing that with or doing whatever with. Who cares? Live your life. Love your life. Enjoy your life. And shoot. It's time to move on. I gave you the answer that you've been looking for. You wanted to know. Found out. And it'll be all right. It will be all right. So that's all I wanted to share with y'all today. We'll promise to get better at structuring these videos, but I definitely just wanted to, one, get a video out so that we can start building a better connection, and two, just, practice. But if you have a comment or any type of story you want to share, drop it in the chat below. You can message me on Instagram, whatever you feel like you need to do to just reach out to me, share your story. I know I'm not the only person going through this or have gone through this, so let's be honest with each other, maybe hold each other accountable, and not allow our friends or even close ones to go down that rabbit hole again. You feel me? I shouldn't have clicked on the YouTube channel. I shouldn't have watched it, but I had to know. And now that I know, I'm glad I'm done. Once again, thank you for watching. My name is Kayvon, and I appreciate the support. Leave a like, subscribe, and I will see y'all next time. Peace.